couple slides here I just wanted to talk through real quick about iOS here. If you remember correctly, iOS 15 came out. It was announced at WWDC back in June. This was the grid that Apple had shared with everybody in regards to what features were going to be released for that time. Notably, SharePlay, live text was very popular, spatial audio, a lot of FaceTime changes. So there's a lot of great new features that it's been added to iOS 15. And then what I want to do is just kind of go over the versions that are out currently right now. So iOS 15 came out. It was back in September. And that's what shipped with iOS, with the iPhone 13. And then the initial release that was released to all the rest of the iPhones that were out there. And then Apple's already had two updates. They had 15.0.1 and then they had 15.0.2. Both came within a week of each other in October of this year. And then 15.1, which is the current version that's out right now. And they added a bunch of new features in there, including they finally enabled SharePlay, which I'm going to be trying to demo here just a bit here. And live text is another great feature as well. So, and then 15.2 is in beta right now. I'm going to talk a little bit about that a little bit later. It's in beta 2, and there is rumors that they're saying that that beta 3 is going to potentially be released very soon here. And I will talk about some of those features here in just a bit. With that, let me go ahead and share my iPhone here, and we'll get started. Any questions so far? First thing I want to talk about was FaceTime. So with the release of 15.1, FaceTime did release the SharePlay feature, as well as a nifty feature that you're actually able to share your iPhone screen with someone else as far as support goes. And I'm actually going to try to pull off a demo here to see if I actually can get this to work, because I do have two iPhones, both working, and I'm going to see if we can do this. But let me kind of explain. This is the FaceTime actual menu now. Two places here. You can actually tap this button right here if you wanted to do a new FaceTime call, and then you could type in a number and be able to tell that and do that. If you see, as you see here, I have my other phone here that's been called before on this phone. So you have that option. But the other cool thing here too is the create link. Now you can actually text this link to a Android user, and they can then they actually can join the call, whether it be on the web or it could be also on an Android device. So it's not just limited to just iPhones these days. This also works with the iPad as well. So with that, let me go ahead and attempt to call the other phone. You can see me. Hi, everybody. I'm going to join. And you should be able to see make sure the mic's mute here. What the menu is going to look like. All right, so now I'm going to the other phone. I'm going to open it up and I'm going to make sure the mic is muted, and we open it up. Okay, so now you're going like crazy here. You see me twice here with two phones. What I wanted to demo here is at the top. I'm going to kind of highlight a couple of the buttons that are here. So the menu here has the options of being able to get to a text message. So you could actually send a text message right from within the FaceTime menu. Of course, your volume control and your mic is here, and the camera. So we could turn the camera on and off just by toggling it there. But if you see this button right here, this is the new feature called share my screen. When you tap it, I'm not going to be able to share it from here because I'm sharing this phone on my computer, but what I'm going to do is actually show you how a share feature is going to work. So I'm going to share the other phone's screen by tapping here, and hopefully it's going to work. It's looking like it's not. Oh, I have to unlock. I'm sorry. It does let you join FaceTime with the phone locked. So, okay, so now I'm going to share my screen, and here we go. It counts down, and now look what you see here. So now I actually can look at someone else's phone, and you actually can do a kind of a support call, really. So if you see here, I'm moving this. This is being moved on the other phone, iPhone, and gives you the option to be able to take a look at a screen. This is also how the screen sharing works as far as SharePlay. So like here's an actual video. I'm just showing you, just doing a quick demo here. This is how SharePlay works, where you can share, like, let's say you want to watch Netflix with somebody and have a SharePlay party, be able to do that, and be able to do many other things. SharePlay is a really cool thing, cool feature. Disney Plus, Netflix, any of those types of services, you are allowed to SharePlay them over a FaceTime call. So you can have like a little party, and you're in different locations, be able to watch all these videos all at the same time. It's kind of neat. So you're in California, I'm in Illinois. You know, we could have a SharePlay party and be able to watch this stuff. So really cool. I think they've done a lot of great things with the features in FaceTime. Let me make sure I hit everything that I was looking to cover for you today. It does work with music, so you have the options to do like shared music cues. So if you want to not only use a video, you can also do music. It does have smart volume, so you can dynamically do volume control on that, so it's smart, so it keeps it so it doesn't blast at you when you're dealing with that, and it does give you some more settings as far as like the screens and such. So you overall, I think the experience with FaceTime has really vastly improved over the years, and this is definitely no difference here. So let me go ahead and end this call here, and that's FaceTime. So let's demonstrate live text. Those are the top two things that really, or where people were real super excited about with when iOS came out. And one of them was live text, and the ability to be able to not only scan from photos, but being scanned. I know Linda just said they traveled to France. You can use the live text, be able to grab the text, grab a phone number, and be able to dial it right from that particular sign. But I'm actually going to demo it just by just trying to scan something here. I got a magazine here. I'm just going to scan this, and you notice down on the bottom right there's a little live text icon. I can tap that, and look what it did. It just picked up that one thing, but that's not what I really wanted. I wanted to probably get more of the text here, so I can try it again. And that got a little blurry because I'm moving it. Let me set it down here. So that looks better. I'm gonna tap this. Okay, so now you see this. You can swipe and select all. Swipe, and then you can tap to copy, and then you can paste it in any place you want to. So here's notes. I'd like to actually add this as a note. I can tap notes, and boom, it just pasted all that stuff right in there without any. And it's accurate, as you can see. A lot of I think pretty much all the words that were in this particular article on that particular piece was very easy to be able to scan stuff. The other great feature I like is the ability, if you take a picture of something and later you want to get a text copy of it. Let me go. This is an actual restaurant I went to in Michigan, New Buffalo, Michigan. It's not too far from Chicago here. As you see here down at the bottom, it does have, well, actually you don't see it, but there is a live text button on the bottom right. You tap it, and I go and copy it by swiping it over. I'm going to try that again. You tap, select all, and tap again, and I don't do that again, and copy, and the same thing. I can go into notes, and if I want to add on to that note that we just did, I can do that here too, or create a new one. Just tap and paste, and there's the menu of that particular restaurant here. So you have that as well. The other thing you can do too is if you create a new note with live text, if you want to if you want to be able to do live text right from within the notes, you can just tap anywhere in the notes and tap the live text icon. And here's the article again too. So it saves you a step here. as you see, I got to slow down because it actually, see how it's picking up the text right as I'm moving it. So pretty cool. So it does it right from within the Notes app, and gives you that option, and then you save it, and then you just tap insert. And it's hard you got to keep steady. That's the only good thing. The one thing you have to do. Now with live text, I'll let you know that the model iPhones that are compatible, it has to be at least an A12 processor, which means it needs to be the 10R. That's actually what this phone is, and higher. So any phone that's below the 10R, it isn't going to work. The processor's too slow. So then since those older phones are compatible to iOS 15, but that particular feature isn't going to be available. So, okay. Other setting, and this is moving on from live text.
Can I ask a question about live text before you move
absolutely.
on?
Yes.
What does it do with reverse type? Will it, if I have type that is, like if I'm dark mode and the screen is black and the type is white, will it take care of it? Do you know what it
Let me try.
will do with
I have something that's got inverted color here. We could try real quick.
Yeah. Like even your Las Vegas 66. Of course, you can't take a picture of that, but yeah.
Let me hang on. Let me get out of here. So, see, it's already getting.
Yeah, there you go. The red, exactly, red or black. With a black background or red background and white type.
There you go.
Do with that.
Select all. And copy. Let's go to notes. And then we create a new note. New note. And paste. There it goes.
Okay. So it also, that's in reverse type. So it keeps the reverse type.
Yeah.
But it does a good job on it.
Yeah,
I see.
it seems like live text. Yeah, live text is. I've been playing with it for a while, and it does have some really nifty features when it comes to that. So, all right, moving on. Rest of my tips are going to just be some hand selected tips that I thought that would stand out really. That stood out really nicely, and including this one here. This is actually an accessibility tip. So if you go into settings and accessibility, and we know that accessibility does have a lot of great things that's helping, hearing impaired, vision impaired, and all that. But they do also have a couple other settings that you can go in, and it's all part of the general here. And what you do is you go in here, down here where it says general, and you have guide access shortcut here. But we want to go here to the pre-app settings here, okay? And what this does is allows you to be able to add specific apps for specific types of settings. So in this case, I want to put in the Amazon app. Everybody knows if you use the Amazon app on the iPhone, it's always a white background. If I love dark mode, as you see, I have this phone set to dark mode. It's always in light mode, right? Well, if you tap the Amazon app, it's going to add it to the list. Now you go into Amazon here. Now what you want to do is go down and select Smart Invert. You want to turn that on, okay? Now, before I do that, let's go to look at the Amazon app here, just so I show that there's a difference. So, of course, we go to Amazon here, and it's white, right? It's hard. That's all you see. And let's go back into accessibility here. I lost my place, but come back. There we go. Go back to per app settings. Amazon's still in there. So now I'm going to go down here, Smart Invert. I'm going to turn it on. Okay. Go back. Now let's go check the Amazon app now. Look what it did. It inverted it to dark mode for you. So there are specific apps that just don't have dark mode built in as of yet. This is obviously for somebody with maybe vision impaired, and they wanted to have it to be dark mode. But a lot of the things I'm seeing with iOS 15 is they've done a per app setting as opposed to globally setting it for everything, which I'm going to talk about another thing here in just a moment. So I thought that was a pretty cool tip, being able to do that and having that available. Control Center. We love Control Center. There's all kinds of stuff, and they did add a few things here that kind of stood out for me. as you know, if you go into settings and then you go on down to control center, this is where you control what items appear in the control center, right? So one of them here, as you see here, is the built-in code scanner. And this is an interesting app. It's not technically an app. I mean, you can search for code scanner. It comes up, and of course, what it's for is just to bring up a QR code scanner. Because we remember back in the old days when they used to have specific apps that would scan QR codes. We don't need those anymore because now this is built in to scan it for you, and that's what it's used for. So I think it's something that's important to add to the list here. Now here's some other items here. This phone actually is on beta. This is on 15.2. So there are going to be a few things I'll show you that's upcoming here. But here's some of the other things. Like if you want to be able to have the ability to toggle between dark mode and light mode, you have the toggle capability here. And a lot of accessibility stuff. Most important, you have to have the magnifier. I think the magnifier is so important, and it's probably something I use quite frequently. If you use the built-in Shazam service, of course, Shazam was bought by Apple a number of years ago. It now has built-in recognition that you actually can initiate it right from there. So I do listen to that sometimes. I don't want to listen to music. I want to have a quick way of being able to find out what song is playing. And then notes. If you use notes, you can add that. It also has the sound recognition feature where it actually recognizes a specific sound, like if a baby's crying or if you hear other types of sound. I'll actually add that too, so we could show you that. And then there's also a great feature called text size. I'm going to talk about that here in just a minute here as well. So of course you go back, and then all those buttons I just added are now appear in the control panel, the control center. So the sound recognition here basically brings you to this sound recognition, and you can actually go in and set specific sounds for specific things. So it does give you the ability to be able, like if you're a fire alarm or a siren, you turn it on, it's actually going to recognize it and tell you that it's happening. A cat and a dog. There's a lot of things in here. The baby crying. So it's probably not something everybody would use, but it does give that ability to be able to set that. So that's what the sound recognition was. And that just brings you, it's just basically a quick way of getting into accessibility, because you saw how it is having to dive through accessibility to get the specific features here. So here's the QR. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Sorry. What is it? So I have a cat. So what does it do if the cat, I mean, what does it do when if I turn on the cat meowing, then what does it actually do?
I think, if I remember correctly, it recognizes that there's animal, that the cat is present and it tells you, I believe. I have to,
okay.
That's what I think it does. There could be one thing I'll play with it.
I'll play with it.
Yeah, you should. It's again another quick tip you didn't know about. That's what's great about here. So, and again, the QR code, as you see here, this is just a simple code. So it'll scan the QR code and brings you to the website. When I've been going into my office now, so I use this all the time because I have to go up to the board. Well, honestly, I have it stored as a shortcut now, but if I have to go up to a board that has a QR code because of COVID, I have to register that I was in the office for that day. I just, the QR code makes it super easy to be able to get to that stuff. And then now the other thing I wanted to tell you about is text size. Now this is a great new thing that they've added here in text size. Before in iOS 14 and older, they used to have just all apps. It was all or nothing. If you wanted to make the text bigger, you bring it up, make it giant. So that means everything is that big, and it's all apps. If you notice right now, it's saying home screen only. That's because I don't have a specific app open. They've added this feature now that if you want to, let's do Amazon again here. If I have Amazon open, I go back. And then I try to open up it's supposed to pick that up. Apparently it didn't pick that up. Let's try another app. Let's go to Safari. It's supposed to give you the option. Why not? It's not doing that. All right. Demo fail here. I promise you it does work because I've done it on other phones. it does give you the ability of being able, it's a one-off app, app text size, to be able to change the size. And it does add the text size specifically for that. Let me try one more time here by setting it here. That's weird. Home screen. And you notice that the home screen, you can make it really big size here, but I don't, let's see. Come on. Try one more time here. It might do it. I think I had it open. Yeah, there we go. So you have to actually have the app open, then bring it into there. So now I can go Amazon only, and then make the change there. You do these demos so much, if you get brain cramps or forget sometimes. So now I can set Amazon specifically for whatever size I want. So maybe I want this to be about 160. So only Amazon would be set to that particular size for the text. So then if I pull this off, and now you can see the text. It did and depending on the app, it'll increase it bigger than what you're normally used to. So great new feature that they added in the app as far as text settings goes, to give you that option as well. So let's talk about the Safari. Safari really has made some changes for the good, and I want to actually go through and let's first talk about the settings in Safari before I get into anything. To get into settings, you go to settings and then you scroll down or search. You can go right down to Safari here. Okay. Now, here are some of the new features. Here's some of the features they've added here that are within Safari now. You do allow Safari to access Siri and search, so it's that ability there. Of course, search engine, you have the options of 5 different search engines. Most people are using Google these days. It's by default because, as we know, Apple pays or Google pays Apple $200 billion, whatever it is, $200 billion to be the default Google browser for the next however many years. You do have the options of turning off if you don't like the search engine suggestions or the Safari suggestions. So that gives you the option as well. And then you have quick website search. This is all related to search here. And then when you go into general, you have controls here as far as where downloads go and your autofill, all that stuff. Now here's the big controversy. Everybody does not like the fact that the toolbar, that the tab bar is on the bottom. I actually don't mind it. I forced myself to keep it, as I knew everybody was making a huge deal out of it. But as you'll see in a minute here, when I go into a web browser window here, I keep it on the bottom, and it's a single tab bar on the bottom here. So you can pick either one of these. So that's the tab bar on the bottom, and then you have the single tab on the top. And here are some other features that they've added, stuff like website tinting. If you needed to adjust for visual, you have options for that. And you do have options now if you want to have tabs close after a certain amount of days, what day, week, or month. But we know that trick where you always tap down, you close them yourself. But I'll be talking about some of the new things in here as well. This feature is the new security feature that they have in here now. It's hide IP address. So you can turn this on, and it hides your IP address information. So the trackers can't track where your location specifically is. So isn't a bad idea to do that. So number of other things here. I'm just not going to go through all this just for the sake of time here. So let's get into Safari here. And first thing I'll say as a quick tip here is the way of being able to quickly refresh a web page. And the way you do that is you scroll down like this, and if you notice here, it's got the spinning bar, and it just refreshes the page. So if there's a lot of times you might be going to a site and you want to refresh it without having to actually, before you would be able to go up and tap the little round arrow to refresh. Well, now you just tap it, scroll down, it does the refresh for you right there. The other things that there is here too is the fact of the the new tab bar itself. You can scroll through your tabs here just by tapping at the bottom here, and this is really great and gives you the option to be able to tab through each page right from the bottom or the top, depending on how you like it. That's a great way of being able to do that. Let's see. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is how you can tap down here. This is the little boxes that give you the option as far as bringing up the menu here. Okay, so this is always my quick tip. If you want to close out all your tabs, like right now I have 10 tabs open on this iPhone, just gives you the option to close them all out. But it has a new feature now that gives you the option of being able to move and create tab groups. And so let's say, let me go to a page that actually is here. Let's tap the tabs here. Actually, that's what I did here. So I tap the tabs, and then now you see all the tabs visually here. Okay, I got about 10 of them open. You see all the different ones here from different sites. There you guys are too. So what I can do here is I can actually tap at the bottom here where it says the tab groups. Now, this is a whole new thing now as far as being able to create groups. Now I've already created a couple groups here already, and that's the Mac sites and the Apple sites. So if I pick up one of those particular tabs, I want to move all the tabs to this. I can also create a new empty tab group. So if I tap this, I'm going to type something Google, and it creates a whole new group of tabs here. So if I tap this again, see it's already created a whole new group, and there's nothing in there right now. Okay, so let's go back to Mac, the 10 tabs. I'm sorry, and I'll tap this again, and I can actually create a new tab group from all 10 tabs. So if I tap this, I'm just going to call this Tech. I save it. So now all of those tabs are now in that group called Tech. So if you see here, there's only a couple here. So let's now tap here and go to the Tech here again, and you can go like this and go like this, tap hold it, and then I can move this particular site to a tab group. So now I want to put this in Apple sites. So now if you go there and here and go to the Apple sites, so now whatever was in there is there as well. So this does give you a great way of being able to really keeping things in place and very quick and easy. So, all right. And there's so many more things in Safari I could go over. We would probably be here for another hour. So let me talk a little bit about a new thing they've changed with PDFs. In the Files app, if you have, and I think I'm sure most of us store PDF files on our devices. Now, in this case, this PDF is actually stored on the iPhone. Now, if it's stored on iCloud, you can't do this trick. And what this is this gives you the ability to be able to add a lock the PDF, so it can't be gotten. You can't get into it without being able to opening it up, keeping it secure. So what I did was I opened up this PDF. This is just a sample here. You tap the share sheet button here, the up arrow, and then it has this feature right here called Lock PDF. And now I can actually add a password, to this, and it allows you to be able to just lock it. I'm going to put a password on here real quick. Better make sure I remember it too. SVMUG. SVMUG. Tap done. Done. Now you see it's got a lock on here. So if any prying eyes come here and want to look at it, you got to put the password in to get to it. A little added, actually, a lot of you might want to do it like if you have something that's sensitive, you might have someone who grabs your iPhone and they may go in there and take a look at that. Gives you a little more of a safety when it comes to that. Okay, in notes, they've added a new feature here. Let's just go to one of the notes we've created here, where if you tap and hold on here, notice that you see how it's magnifying it now. They've added a built-in magnifier within notes here, so if you wanted to be able to look at it closer, it does give you the option to be able to just tap and hold on to that particular word and look at it. So it's basically a magnifier, allows you to be able to add that in place, which is really cool. I really like that. So you do have that magnifier that gives the ability to do that as well. Let me see what else we've got here. A couple other things I'll talk to you about. Let's go into the iCloud account here. And this is a dummy account, so I'm not worried about anything secret here. So if I go into my Apple ID here, and then I go into iCloud, and then I go into, there's two features here. Now this isn't enabled because this doesn't have I don't have a paid account for this, but you have two new features here. Allows you to be able to go in and create, and then these are the features that will be added to what's called iCloud Plus. Okay, it gives a private relay, so it gives you even more security when you're surfing the web. Gives you, of course, you add the 50 gigs of storage, and you also have the options of hide by email, and that's the other feature that I really like too. Is you actually can create a fake email account and use it just for specific items here. So you put your password in here, and then those two features in here as well. I'm not going to go into too much detail with that as far as that goes, but that's another two features that they've added to here as well. See if I make sure I got everything here. Oh yes, let's talk about home pages real quick. Now, you know how to get to home pages. You have to go down here. You tap and hold the button bar here, and it wiggles. So then there's your home page view, right? Now they added this, of course, in iOS 14. So you actually can take a page, uncheck it, and then I remember before what you had to do is you had to actually clear out the page. Well, I can go minus and remove this page completely. Page is gone. So you have one step to being able to get rid of. So now all I have are 2 pages here. Of course, the apps didn't go anywhere. They're still in the app library. But it does give you the option to be able to get rid of a page if you don't want that whole page. Do you have a question, Linda?
If you do that, are those apps still on the phone,
They sure are. Yep, they're in
so I don't have to re-download them?
Nope, they're in the app library. As you know, when you go to try to delete an app, it gives you the option. I can tap and hold an app here. Well, that's and it says yeah, it's okay. It's a demo phone. Here's a good one. Facebook. Goodbye, Facebook.
There you go.
So this is how you're actually able to tap the icon, and then you can delete it, and it gives you the option. You want to delete it completely, it'll be gone. From the apps library, it doesn't delete it deletes it to me right away if you allow it. But if you do it from a page, it gives you the option to remove it, as well as it gives you the option here. You can remove it, delete it.
Okay.
So and gives you that option as well. So that's one thing here. Let me talk a little bit about iOS 15.2 Beta 2. They have added a couple new features in here. One of them that's been a hot topic lately is legacy contacts. You could set a trusted person and to give them have the ability to access your Apple ID and your data or your digital legacy and be able to get to it. And the way you can get to it is you go into settings and you go into password and security, and it's going to be on this phone. Go here. Settings, passwords, and security. And then did I go to the right place? Let me see. Well, this didn't get on here just yet. It should have. This is running it. Well, anyway, it does. What it does is it does give you the option being able to set the person as a legacy contact. So uh, it is there. So the other thing I was going to tell you about in passwords is the fact that I've got this account here. This is just a dummy account here that I've added as one of the passwords. So I tap it in here, and you see I did an easy password there, so everybody could like be fooled thinking they could use this. But so here's the site and here's the app. So this was like access to a Google account. Notice here it has set up verification code. So now they've got a built-in way of being able to either scan a QR code to get to security or enter a setup key. So really what this is it gives the option to not having to use apps like Microsoft Authenticator or Google Authenticator. It's built into iOS here. So it does give so if I wanted to enter a verification code, I can go in and get the QR code, then puts that in there. So what they've done is basically built in two-factor from within the passwords app on the iPhone. So let me see what else I've got here. Yeah, let me talk about a couple of photo things that they've what they've added here in Photos. So if you go into Photos, and let me just pick a photo here, okay? I took this photo. This is actually on the wall behind me here. I found this online here, the evolution of the iPhone, and I counted how many phones I owned. There's 18 here I did own at one point. So if you notice down here at the, oh, of course it's not going to show it because I'm demoing it here. I won't be able to show this because it goes full screen, but you could trust me. It's there. I'm looking at it here. There's a little eye here, and it gives the option to be able to give the exif information. So it's going to actually tell me what actual, because you know how you always had to have a third party app to find out the specific information about it. I don't know if I can put it on my camera here. People are probably going to be hard seeing it, but it shows it at the bottom there. And in this case, this was shot with an iPhone 13 Pro Max. And it tells me which is my phone, iPhone, which lens was used, and if it's what the size was. In this particular case, it was a 9 megapixel at 2747 by 3411, and the size of it is 745 kilobytes. So it's giving you the options of being able to have all that information, probably more. So of course, it puts the map under there too, so it tells you exactly where it was taken. So it's kind of cool that they've added that. So the weather app has really gotten some improvements here. Just random city here I pick here. As we know, Apple bought Dark Sky, and they've incorporated a lot of the features of Dark Sky, and they're still selling Dark Sky, which is kind of interesting. But I own it, and it's a great app. But I would venture to say sooner or later it's going to head off into the sunset. So Apple's going to incorporate even more stuff here. But they've done great things about here, like if you could tap the map and see how how the weather's looking, look over by where you guys are. It's showing weather conditions, and you can actually scan this map right from the weather app. You didn't have that option in previous versions. Giving you more information like the UV index and sunrise, sunset. So they've really done some really great things that they've added to this. And there brings the map up real easy for you there. So so check out some of the stuff that the weather app has. So it looks like I'm really close on time here. So I would be more than happy to open up for any other questions before I'll wrap up on this, unless something I missed that you wanted to know about.
So dumb question here. How do you get to the app library?
You swipe all the way to the right, to the left. You're swiping left to bring it all the way over. And any app can, if you have any app that's not on a homepage, it'll create more homepages on the fly here. So as you see here, I've got one that's got the Google Maps on here. So if let's say I want to tap and grab iMovie. So you see how quick I was able to just drag and drop it?
Okay. So it was actually all the way to the, well, I guess
Yeah,
it's arguably
when
right
you when you I
on
guess when I'm
it's the
on the
other way.
phone, I'm swiping left.
It's swiping.
um, the
All right.
other thing I'll do is when it relates to that too is when you go and search for an app like Siri suggestions, you also can drag and drop them from here too,
Right. Okay.
as well. So
All right.
okay,
Yeah, that's good to know. I like that better. The app
yeah,
library I haven't gotten into. All right. Okay.
yeah. It's why it's kind of hidden. People still love their home pages.
Okay, I have a interesting question. Going back to
Sure.
FaceTime, you mentioned that with SharePlay you could play music
Hmm.
over a FaceTime group,
You can.
but I know that you're prohibited from playing music over things like business radio or CB or general mobile radio service, and also that BMI and ASCAP have certain limitations on what they consider to be a home performance versus a commercial performance. Do you see any problem there with that and playing music over FaceTime?
As far as my understanding goes, SharePlay is considered a private session. It's not being publicly played, so you're sharing it among your friends and family or whoever you happen to be speaking with on FaceTime. So I mean, I would think SharePlay in itself wouldn't have had. It wouldn't be. We wouldn't be talking about it if there was some legalities of it not being allowed to play any of that copyrighted type of material. So as far as I understand, there's no problem with being able to do that. Just like watching a movie on Netflix, I mean, the quality is not going to be anywhere near as what it is if you had it on your device directly, of course, and the publishers know that. So, but the more the intent of it is being able to share and have enjoyment of being with family and friends in a FaceTime call and being able to listen and consume that type of media.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, you mentioned tabs, and frankly, this may be too elementary, but there were two of us, and nobody's ever told us what tabs are or how to find them. And you started
Okay.
using them, but we don't know what any of that's about.
Okay,
Should I
I'll
just
review.
Google it, or
No,
is it
I'll show you real quick. So if you see, I've got a Safari is open here. Here at the
Yeah.
bottom, these are considered the tabs. If you remember before, it would be at the top, and it would have like little tabs that you'd have to tap through. You wouldn't be able to scan them. So down here at the bottom, if you have tabs already open, that's what these are. So I can tap and I can tap and scroll between each one of these tabs because they're all open right now. See that?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm scrolling back and forth. The other way of looking at tabs is if you just tap this button down here. This is the tab. This is a tab button here. See this? And I tap that.
Yeah. Oh, I see that.
So
Okay.
there's the tabs here. And what I talked about was you're able to create groups for tabs. So like if I go to the tech group that I created, these are all the tabs that are open, but it's showing it in a small square view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I just tap it, and now with this tab group, there's more tabs available, so I can swipe through all these.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
I'm going to ask for a clarification on that. I
Sure.
recognize when you're touching the two little squares at the bottom right. That was one way to get to the
Yeah.
tabs.
See my mouse?
What was the first one that you showed? You said there's this way, and then there's the little box. How did you get to the other screen?
You mean this one?
Ah,
Yeah, I
okay.
tap it. This is, if you remember, this has been a tip from previous versions of iOS. You would be able to tap and hold this, and then it was a quick
What
way.
are you tapping though? Like that's what I
I'm
can't see.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
If you see my mouse here, can you
Yeah,
see my little?
I see the
This
little
button?
one. I see that one, the one on the bottom right. But what's the first one you did?
Oh, I just tap and held it.
Held what? Just those little squares. That was I thought you did
Yep.
something else first. You said you could do it this way, or you could tap the little squares.
You tap the squares. Just if I tap it, it brings up these menus. Then this brings up this here. Yeah.
I think I see. So there's two different ways of tapping those, but it's
Yeah,
the same little
if I just tap it singly, then that brings this up. If I tap hold,
I got
it'll
you.
bring it up here.
One is a
Um,
tap hold and one is just a okay, got it. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, it's okay. And you see here, it actually, this is probably a quicker way to be able to toggle. See, I've got the 4 different tab groups I created. I can toggle between these 4. And this also gives you a place like if you want to do private browsing, it gives you a quick way to get into that or bring it to a start page.
Gotcha.
So here's a new start page without the tabs. Now there's nothing here. See?
So in both cases, you're tapping the same spot. One is a tap and hold, and one is just a quick tap.
Yep. And if I tap and hold this again, it should see this is a whole new group, so it doesn't have any tabs open right now.
Right. Right. Thank you.
So if I go back, then because it's like a start page, and you can and then you go to the tech one, and I go done. Now you're going to see that it does have. Now, if I want to close out all these tabs, I can just click close, and they close them out.
Okay. And when you close them all up, that gets rid of the group itself. Yes.
No, it just closes the tabs. The groups.
So the group. So what happens? What if you want to get rid of the group?
The group you can actually go in and delete the group completely. Let me remember how to do that.
Just swipe it, or if because I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's what I did. Let me. That's a good question. So I'm let's go here. Yeah. So if you tap the tab groups here and you swipe to the left, it'll delete. It gives you you can edit it or you can delete it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey,
I think I've gone about 45 minutes here.
Yeah, we should let you go. We're still,
Wow.
but if other people have questions,
Yeah, please. If anybody has questions, I'm happy to answer them.
last chance.
All right. Well, I hope it was informative. I hope you enjoyed it. And always try to provide whatever I can about iOS. I'm always talking about it. So
Thank you, David. Appreciate it very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm going to pass the presenter baton back to Linda.
Back to me.
Thank you, and I guess you want to log off and get some sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over after 10 p.m. here. So
Yeah, very good.
you
Thank you,
guys have a
David.
great rest of your meeting. Thanks for having me. And take care.
All righty. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye bye.